opposition? Who could become the Iron Survivor? Who will beat their deadline? The field is set for the most exciting 25 minutes in the WWE. Who will out-strategize the opposition? Who could become the Iron Survivor? Who will beat their deadline? The field is set for the most exciting 25 minutes in the WWE. Who will out-strategize the opposition? Who could become the Iron Survivor? Who will beat their deadline? The field is set for the most exciting 25 minutes in the WWE. Who will out-strategize the opposition? Who could become the Iron Survivor? Who will beat their deadline?
Then now together.
And now, WWE presents Countdown to Deadline.
This is San Antonio, Texas. It is the most visited city in all of Texas, known for its iconic Riverwalk that you're looking at right now. But tonight, it's the site of WWE's final premium live event of the year. It's NXT Deadline. 2 championships are on the line and 10 superstars are vying at immortality in WWE to become the Iron Survivor. Welcome on in to Countdown to Deadline. I'm Megan Morant. He is Sam Roberts. And Sam, becoming the Iron Survivor in NXT has the chance to change one's entire career.
Of course, it means that you're going to start 2026 with a shot at the NXT Championship, the one goal that everybody under the NXT banner has. The question is, who's it going to be? And that's why, for me, when you talk about tonight, tonight is not about the last PLE of 2025. Tonight is not about looking back at the year. Tonight is about 2026. Tonight sets the table, whether it's finding out who is going to be the NXT champion or finding out who is the Iron Survivor as we blast into a new year.
It's certainly one of the most unique matches in all of WWE. But if I may look back on 2025 for just a moment, it's hard to think of any superstar that's had a bigger year than Javon Evans. And tonight he has an opportunity to become the Iron Survivor.
1 of 5 in that men's match, yes. And Javon Evans has had a tremendous year. However, he hasn't come up tall in the big matches. He's had opportunities at the NXT Championship. He has not won the NXT Championship. For me, looking at tonight, looking at going into 2026, looking at Javon Evans, he has to win this Iron Survivor unless he wants to start the year kind of stepping back.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to come down from an opportunity like the one that Javon Evans just had, participating in the last time is now tournament with a chance to be John Cena's final opponent. And that really has been such an opportunity for all of the superstars in 2025.
It's been massive. I mean, John Cena is the guy who picked every superstar in this Iron Survivor Challenge.
And there's the man we're talking about right now, Javon Evans. Will he walk out of San Antonio as the Iron Survivor?
But over on the women's side, Sol Ruca looks to become the Iron Survivor tonight, but she is going to have to snatch more souls than she ever has before.
2 championships on the line tonight at Deadline, and for the first time in NXT history, the NXT Championship title match will open the show.
Wow.
As the champion, Ricky Saints, defends his title against the ruler of NXT, Obafemi.
Tonight for Ethan Page, there is nothing more important than the NXT North American Championship, but that's how Ethan Page lives his life every day. Tonight, he defends it against AAA superstar who has stolen the hearts of the NXT universe, Mr. Iguana.
Once friends, now turned bitter enemies. Tatum Paxley looks to get revenge on Izzy Dame after Izzy Dame cost Tatum the NXT Women's Championship.
And this is what you were talking about, looking for that brush with immortality, the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, Sol Ruka, Jordan Grace, Kendall Gray, all competing for a shot at the NXT Women's Championship to start 2026.
Over on the men's side, in the men's Iron Survivor Challenge, it's Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, and Miles Bourne who will emerge on top.
Tonight at Deadline, NXT will once again present a truly revolutionary match. The Iron Survivor Challenge. There will be 2 Iron Survivor Challenges, one for the men and one for the women. Five superstars will compete in this unique 25-minute match. They will battle each other and the clock. 2 superstars will start the match. Then every 5 minutes, another superstar will join the match until all 5 are in the ring. The goal of the match is to have the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes. Falls can be won at any time via pinfall or submission. When a superstar wins a fall, they'll earn a point. However, when a superstar loses a fall, they must pay the penalty. They're forced out of the ring and into the penalty box for 90 seconds. Once 90 seconds are up, the superstar can re-enter the match. The superstar who scored the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes will be named the Iron Survivor and will become the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. Who will be the next Iron Survivor?
Not only the chance at immortality, but this is certainly one of the most unique matches in all of WWE. Stamina and strategy certainly go into becoming the Iron Survivor, Sam, but with all of the implications, what would your strategy be in terms of entering this match?
I don't know. You talk about innovative, you talk about interesting. This Iron Survivor Challenge has so quickly become my favorite multi-man match of this season. It is unbelievable, the pace at which these superstars have to move in order to win a match like this. The 90 seconds in the penalty box, they can make all the difference in the world. Is it better to come in early and start stacking falls? Or is it better to enter the match when superstars are worn out and trying to stack them up quickly? Both strategies have worked in the past. You can't even be avoidant in a match like this. To avoid a fall is fine, but if you don't have points on the board, you're done.
And Sam, this is a match for all of the superstars that obviously carries a lot of significance, the chance to earn a world championship opportunity.
Yeah.
But this year, the stakes are even higher because each and every participant in both the women's and men's Iron Survivor match has been hand-selected by John Cena.
Massive. Massive that John Cena is involved in this. There are a million things that John Cena could do, but he looked at the landscape of WWE and NXT, and he realized that the Iron Survivor Challenge and what this single match can do to a superstar's career is all about what John Cena has wanted to do this year, and that's put young superstars on a pedestal.
The NXT women's division is overflowing with incredible talent. And these 5 superstars I've chosen to participate in this Iron Survivor Challenge are a tremendous representation of that. Sol Ruca is the first name when it comes to athleticism and innovation.
Wait a minute.
Snatch that Sol! Sol Ruca riding the wave of momentum.
Very excited to see what she can do.
Come deadline, doesn't matter who's in that ring with me, I will be the sole survivor.
Someone who's always believed in her ability. Every time we've spoken together personally, she has one question. When can I get my shot?
This isn't just a fight. This is my moment.
Lola Vice stays hot.
Lola Vice, your time is now.
No one, nadie, can handle Lola Vice.
The next superstar calls herself a standout.
I don't just call myself the standout for no reason.
And now Kalani Jordan has the opportunity to prove it.
I am the most elite athlete to step foot in this ring.
I admire strength because it takes time, discipline, and the ability to overcome failure. Those are all necessary traits to succeed as a superstar.
The Juggernaut is here!
All qualities Jordan Grace has.
I have one goal in mind, and that's to be at the top of the best women's division in professional wrestling.
Jordan Grace has just sent shockwaves through NXT.
The final selection is an amateur standout who not only found her footing but has all the tools to accomplish anything she puts her mind to in WWE. The Evolve Women's Champion, Kendall Gray.
Overcoming the odds, Kendall Gray. What a moment for this superstar.
Your new Evolve Women's Champion has officially arrived!
I am truly excited to see this match. Ladies, good luck.
What an honor for these 5 superstars to be hand-selected by the greatest of all time, John Cena, in the midst of his retirement tour, just a week ahead of his final matchup. But what really stood out to me is the fact that he said Sol Ruca is world championship caliber. And when we heard from Sol Ruca on Tuesday night on NXT, Sol Ruca said it's time that she starts believing in herself, that she belongs to be a world champion, Sam.
I think that's right. I think she has no reason not to believe this. She should believe it. I think the NXT universe believes it. I believe it. If she doesn't believe it, she does not have a chance at this. That one moment of doubt is all anybody needs to take advantage of in a match like this. But also with somebody like Sol Ruca, who has come out of nowhere to get so many victories in so many of her matches. She can't just get one lucky fall in this match. She has to do it again and again and again. She has to get points on the board. It's not going to be enough to get one soul snatcher, a pin, and we're done. She's going to have to repeat that process multiple times.
Well, someone who knows a thing or two about repeating processes multiple times is Lola Vice. You talk about a superstar that has come so close to becoming champion on several different occasions here in NXT. Lola Vice is hungry.
Well, Lola Vice is also not in the position anymore where she's kind of coming from nowhere. Lola Vice is in the position where she should be in consideration for the NXT Women's Championship, where she should be asking, when's the next time I get in the ring with a champion? But when you've been in the ring with the champion before and you haven't been successful, you have to look a little harder to find those opportunities to prove that you deserve another shot. And a match like this is going to put Lola Vice back in that position.
But how about Kalani Jordan, this new edge, this new attitude that she brings? I mean, she could barely get a word out on NXT without the crowd booing her out of the ring.
I mean, big deal, big deal. What does the crowd know? The crowd is there to sound off. That's fine. They have nothing to do with what's happening in the ring. Kalani Jordan has finally found edge. She's finally found purpose. She's been a Knockouts champion. I think that she needs to prove tonight that this new attitude that you speak of is a successful one. And in order to prove it's a successful one, what does she have to do? Be successful.
Well, Kalani Jordan would argue that she would still have that Knockouts championship if it wasn't for Jordan Grace. There's no question that she has the strength advantage in the match and arguably the experience advantage when it comes to wrestling. But Jordan Grace is one that's been frustrated from coming up short as well.
I mean, you can be frustrated all you want, but if you come up short, you come up short. Jordan Grace came to NXT with a ton of hype. This is a match built to find out if the hype is real. And that's what we find out with Jordynne Grace tonight.
Well, I want to know if the hype is real for Kendall Gray, because Kendall Gray, while she enters this match as the Evolve Women's Champion, in my mind, she's the underdog. And earlier this week, she caught up with our own Kelly Kincaid.
That's ridiculous.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Kendall Gray, you have had quite the year. You've made waves through Evolve as the Evolve Women's Champion. You're part of Ren QCC, and now the greatest of all time, John Cena, has handpicked you to be part of the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge at Deadline. So, how are you feeling?
You know, Kelly, I'm speechless. I'm excited. It doesn't even feel real. You know, I can't even put it into words how I feel, but it's a full circle moment because growing up, I used to watch John Cena. You know, I have a picture when I was like 8 years old at a SmackDown event that my dad took me to with like a "You Can't See Me" chain.
The chain was huge. It was huge.
But it's like a full circle moment, and now he's picking me to be in the Iron Survivor. You know, growing up, I always try to be better than my brother in all sports. And you could say that competitive might be my middle name. And because of that, I did everything. Soccer, gymnastics, t-ball, MMA, wrestling, the list goes on and on and on. All I ever told myself was the phrase that the GOAT inspired in me. Never give up, never back down. And to know that John Cena is watching my work, it's crazy, but it's also validating. And now I have to prove that I belong in the Iron Survivor.
Now, the Iron Survivor Challenge is unlike any other match in WWE, and you're going to be in there with some of the most athletic and experienced women in NXT. So what's your game plan?
I mean, Kendall is a badass, Kelly. She doesn't need a game plan. She's just gonna go in there and know exactly what to do. She's badass.
I mean, she's right. I thrive under pressure. You know, the Iron Survivor is the best place for me to showcase what Kendall Gray is all about. I don't know if I'm gonna be first or last, and I don't know if I want to be first or last or in the middle. I don't.
Well, look, last year was crazy. There really is no right answer.
I mean, that doesn't really help, but thank you, I guess.
I mean, I tried.
Look, Kelly, I'm going to be strategizing my pins, minimizing my time in the penalty box, and I'm locked in to become the Iron Survivor and the #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. Look, a year ago, I didn't know my own voice, and I thought I was ready, but now I'm walking into Deadline in San Antonio with true confidence that everything that led me to this point was for a purpose.
Now, you're walking into this match with a lot of eyes on you, but a lot of support as well. You two have grown so close while building Ren QCC. So what is this dynamic? How's it been like?
I'm the biggest Kendall Gray fan, and I know how important it is just to be in the Iron Survivor match. So I can't wait to see Kendall hold up the Ren QCC sign when she is the Iron Survivor. It's gonna be amazing.
That's why Ren's my girl.
Oh.
You know, I saw okay, I'm gonna let go now, okay? I saw Ren in the Iron Survivor last year, and I saw her break out.
Ren Sinclair, she was able to come in out of the penalty box and secure a fall.
Look, Kelly, girls run the world, and that's what Ren QCC is all about. And this girl is gonna show that I'm built for big moments. John Cena gave me this opportunity, and at Deadline, I'm walking out with the victory. And I can bet you, mark my words, that by the end of the night, everyone's gonna be talking about one girl, Kendall Gray.
And that's her.
Well, Kendall, I wish you luck, and thank you so much again for joining me today, guys.
Thank you.
John Cena gave Kendall Gray this opportunity, and if she can capitalize, it could change her entire career. But Sam Roberts, I couldn't help but notice the looks of disgust
Disdain.
you were
It was
giving me. Disdain
Yeah.
that you were giving me when I referred to Kendall Gray as the underdog in this match. Why don't you believe that she's the underdog?
For every reason that she just gave everybody. Look, Kendall Gray got here quickly, but that doesn't mean she shouldn't be here. That doesn't mean that she's an underdog. She's also the only superstar entering this match already a champion. Kendall Gray understands the mission at hand. Kendall Gray understands how to strategize. Kendall Gray is a multi-sport athlete where she has excelled at all of them. I need to be on the record now. I watch NXT, and I say, somebody give me the platform to put my flag in the sand to say Kendall Gray is the future of the entire division. She is 100% my pick in the Iron Survivor Challenge.
That's very bold.
Well, I'm a bold
because
guy.
Kendall Gray has the least amount of experience coming into this match.
It's not all about experience. Experience is a factor. It's not the factor. The fact is that she has been a part of so many moments already, in not a relatively, a very short period of time. But there hasn't been one moment where you look in that superstar's eyes and she doesn't look ready for what's in front of her. She doesn't look ready for the moment. Every single time she steps up, you go, yeah, that's what a superstar looks like. That's how a superstar competes. And that's what we see in the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Well, also tonight at Deadline, there are two friends that are now bitter enemies in Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame. I've been trying to tell you this for a while, Sam, but Izzy Dame cost Tatum Paxley the NXT Championship tonight. Tatum looks to get her revenge.
Tatum, you need people in your corner who are going to prioritize you and elevate you.
I would do anything for you, Izzy.
JC Jane's rule will end at Halloween Havoc when I have my best friends holding me in the air and the NXT Women's Championship in my hands.
Paxley shocks the universe!
Your new NXT Women's Champion!
If this creepy little weirdo can be NXT Women's Champion, then anyone can be.
Which is why I want to open up a fair door for every woman in that locker room.
Tatum, I say this with love. You have been chasing this title for a long time. Everyone else doesn't have Tatum's best interest at heart. Abandoned by people like Lyra, Sol, and Zarya.
I have Izzy, the Culling. They've accepted me, and that's how I know this time it will be different.
If it were up to me, you need to make people earn a shot at that title.
No, Izzy, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be amazing!
It's going to be Lullabies versus Tatum Paxley, your NXT Women's Champion!
Did Izzy need to take a step back and support her friend, not question the decisions of Tatum Paxley?
And if you don't start thinking before you act, you risk losing that title.
Hey! Fatal influence!
What's the matter, Izzy? You don't have any faith in your best friends? Tatum, the right thing to do would be to give the former champion her rematch.
She carries no weight right now. Of course she would say anything to get a rematch.
I have to be smart about who I give an opportunity to, and I'm absolutely going to do that.
Right after New York. JC Jane, at Gold Rush, you get your rematch.
Should Tatum have listened to her friends? Well, the referee's distracted, and Izzy right here. Well, Tatum wants to do this the right way. What the hell, Izzy?
Why did you do it?
Oh, Tatum, don't act like you didn't hear my warnings loud and clear. I told you not every voice in your head is worth listening to, but yet you still followed them.
You were my friend! You're just like everybody else!
Tatum only became the NXT Women's Champion because I allowed her to. At Deadline, it is Tatum and I, one-on-one. In San Antonio, I end the version of you that refused to evolve.
Here I am, Izzy, in our family spot, but I'm alone. Why? We were great together, and you took the one thing that I wanted the most.
If you're really that upset, Tatum, why don't you bring your ass out here and do something about it? Or are you too scared, Tatum?
I'm scared. Because at Deadline, I'm gonna have to make you feel all of my pain.
Sam, I have been trying to tell you from countdown show to countdown show to countdown show that Izzy, Dame, and the Calling for that matter are not to be trusted.
I mean, is that a question, or did you just want to pat yourself on the back like Barry Horowitz?
Yeah, that's what.
Got the sequin jacket on and everything. Look, I mean, you've been saying, yeah, if you repeat something long enough, eventually it will be true. Well, you were saying it all these times when it wasn't true. The fact is that Izzy Dame explained herself. She said that she was friends with Tatum Paxley. She took Tatum Paxley under her wing. And according to Izzy, Tatum Paxley simply did not live up to the high expectations that Izzy had for her.
Didn't live up to them. She became the NXT Women's Champion.
Don't argue me on it. She said it. I'm not saying she's right or wrong. This is what she said. I'm saying you're wrong. Not that she said that Tatum Paxley didn't live up to those expectations. She said it was time to cut bait. And honestly, I kind of respect that. We've all been around people that we realize you've been working with them long enough that it's just not working out. And some people have the integrity to cut bait, and that's what Izzy did.
You want me to cut bait right now with you
No,
from the
no,
show?
no. That wasn't what
I feel like this is a personal attack, but there is no question that the NXT universe will certainly have Tatum Paxley's back tonight.
Here is what you say about Tatum Paxley. I don't think anybody expected the level of support to come Tatum Paxley's way that came Tatum Paxley's way. The NXT audience made it clear. They wanted to see Tatum Paxley as the NXT Women's Champion. The NXT audience on Tuesday made it very clear that they did not want to hear what Izzy Dame had to say. What I want to see is, what does Tatum Paxley look like after this betrayal? What does she look like on her own? And has that championship reign changed her? I hope so, for her sake tonight.
Well, we're all looking forward to that match tonight at Deadline. Also coming your way tonight at Deadline, 2 NXT championships are on the line. And when we come back right here on Countdown, we will preview the NXT North American Championship match as well as the NXT title match.
Margarita, skinny, tahini, spicy. You don't survive by being lucky, you survive by being good. Sometimes I think they forget who the greatest female wrestler of all time is. Don't worry, I'll remind them. At WrestleMania Vegas, it's anyone's game.
Sinclair, Stephanie McCare. Oh, from the top, baby. Oh, wow.
Double underhook suplex. Soul splash. Soul to take the lead. There's Zarya. She can take the lead.
Man.
Suplex.
Man, I thought.
But there's Ren Sinclair.
I thought Ruka was going to get a point right there.
Ren doesn't have a point. Ren just got caught, got rolled up, and got pinned again.
Stephanie McCare has scored a goal. Oh, man.
But for Sinclair, she's locked up in the penalty box for less than 90 seconds. There's just over 90 seconds left in this matchup. Julia with one. McCare with one. Soul with one. And Zarya with one.
What a main event, Vic.
Under 2 minutes to go. Which of these?
Whoa, that's it. That could be it.
The Women's Iron Survivor. Big right from Julia. Julia McCare trying to take out Soul. Soul running by one, ran back in, got caught, draped across that middle rope, fake kick, didn't connect. McCare got caught up. 40 seconds and just over 40 seconds for Sinclair. There's so much time, there's so much bodies flying around Booker. I'm trying to keep with that double clothesline.
Talk about the talent. Vic, wow.
Care able to kick out again.
Not enough.
Desperation has to be setting in for Ren Sinclair. As I see her over here in the penalty box, banging on the glass. 20 seconds till she gets out. Just over a minute left in the match. Penalty clock now at 15. Who is going to hang on? 4 women tied at 1.
1 minute.
1 minute left.
1 minute.
And you can feel the tension is rising. Ren's coming out, and Ren's got to go for broke. Ren just got caught. Ren got sold out. Is it enough? We got a tie.
Ren Sinclair has scored a fall.
We got a 5-way tie at 1. just got over 30 seconds. Inside cradle to do it again.
Whoa. No.
Ren almost able to pull the upset.
I see sudden death, Vic.
Double
I see
spear.
sudden death coming.
Double spear. Zari is in control. 20 seconds left. Down to 18. Plant Sinclair, 15 seconds. Julia, arrivederci knee.
Whoa!
And it's goodbye, Zari.
Julia has scored a ball.
7 seconds. The care stacking her up, kick out. 5 seconds, 3 seconds. Time of the essence. The clock ran out. Julia survives.
Here is your winner and the new #1 contender to the NXT Women's Championship, Julia.
This is San Antonio, Texas. Tonight, the site of our final premium live event of the year, NXT Deadline. And we're making history tonight because for the first time in premium live event history, the NXT Championship match opens the show.
This is what it looks like when they say, does he carry the title like a champion? But tonight, Ricky Saints defends against Oba Femi. Has Oba figured out how to beat Ricky Saints tonight? We find out with the NXT Championship on the line. Ricky Saints defends against Oba Femi, and for the first time in NXT history, this championship match opens the show.
It's main event time here at No Mercy. Who will be NXT champion? Can Ricky Saints' Revolution take down the ruler? Or will Oba Femi send another superstar on a fall from grace? A fourth DDT! And Saints did it!
I knew that I was going to do something great. I just couldn't define it till this moment. This isn't just about winning the NXT Championship. It's about making all the non-believers into believers. And ultimately, it is proving to myself that all of the sacrifices that I made pays off. I proved to myself that I am exactly who I say I am.
I am the man that is the face of NXT. This is my house.
He is the absolute measuring stick of NXT. No way. Oh my God, he's back. It's the ruler.
After No Mercy, when my historic championship reign came to an end, I returned home to Nigeria. But it was no vacation.
I went back to the motherland. I went back to the soils that made me. I trained to create the version of myself that you cannot beat. And now I am here.
I came back, bigger, better, stronger than ever. Now I've returned to conquer the mountain all over again.
You've had your time in the sun, but now the sun is setting on the absolute era. And I am the one who will cast the shadow. I am the one who will take it all away. I am the one who will destroy you. Because the ruler is back. The destroyer is back. The bringer of war is back. Your daddy is home.
You want a rematch at Deadline? You got it.
For the first time in NXT PLE history, the men's NXT Championship match will open the show.
Ricky, you must understand that the version of me you beat at No Mercy was a man who was burdened with the tolls of a long title reign. But this version is going to destroy you and remind you that you're only a footnote in my legacy as the ruler of NXT and all of WWE.
You know, one question that goes through my mind is, what happens to me if I don't beat you? Am I the man that I think that I am? Guess we'll never know.
There's no more fairy tale. I am the NXT champion. And you can beat every and any man that steps in the ring with you. But guess what? There's an exception to the rule and the ruler.
and his name is Absolute Ricky Saints.
With all due respect to Ricky Saints and every single superstar on the NXT roster for that matter, there's a different energy, there's a different vibe, there's a different landscape in NXT when Obafemi is around. And you think back on the career of Obafemi, the only bump in the road has been Ricky Saints. But Sam, this is why Ricky Saints came to NXT, to become a champion. Did he really come this far to only get this far?
I mean, that's a great question. Ricky Saints needs this victory as much as Obafemi. Even though Ricky Saints is walking into Deadline as champion, Ricky Saints is not here for a short title reign. You're 100% right. Ricky Saints does not just want the title. Ricky Saints does not just want a couple of notable victories. Ricky Saints wants to define an era in NXT the same way some of the great champions before him did. Ricky Saints wants this era of NXT to be remembered for him. And in order to do that, he thought he was going to have to beat Obafemi. What he didn't realize is he's going to have to beat Obafemi twice. Once to get the title and once to retain it.
It's interesting to think about Obafemi in this position as well, because we've never seen Oba come back from a loss like this before.
No, we haven't. And I thought it was really important that Obafemi defined where he had gone. Obafemi disappeared from our television sets after he lost to that NXT championship to Ricky Saints. And when he came back, he said he went home. He said he went home to figure out who he was, to remember who he was. And he said he also went home to figure out how to beat Ricky Saints. You say, what's the difference between this Obafemi and the Obafemi that was here before? According to him, this Obafemi is the one that knows exactly how to beat Ricky Saints, which is terrible news for the NXT champion.
But it's also a different Ricky that Oba last saw as well, Sam. I mean, you followed the career of Ricky Saints very closely, even before he got to NXT.
Oh, yeah.
And when he was a champion, he's looking face-to-face with Obafemi. For a lot of NXT fans, that was a moment where they recognized who Ricky Saints is and just how dangerous he is as a champion.
That's right. And it says that he's not intimidated by what's in front of him. He's not intimidated by the unknown. Ricky Saints, tonight he's facing a guy that's bigger than him. Ricky Saints has faced superstars bigger than him over and over and over again. You talk about underdogs and being underestimated. Ricky Saints has been underestimated over and over and over again. I do not see a world in which Ricky Saints lets that NXT championship go. There were a lot of people that said, I don't see how he can beat Obafemi to begin with. I don't see how Ricky Saints loses the NXT championship because of how tight that grip is on the title.
Well, we won't have to wait long to find out, because that match is kicking off all of the action tonight on Deadline. Also tonight at Deadline, Ethan Page defends his NXT North American Championship against Mr. Iguana, and this one came about Tuesday on NXT.
Ethan, where are you going?
This is my vehicle, and that would mean that I am leaving. Clearly, my services are not needed here tonight. You and the Invisible Man are doing a bang-up job putting together Deadline. Actually, you know what? I would like to personally thank John for affording so many less fortunate talent a great opportunity this Saturday.
Wow.
But more importantly, giving me the night off.
Right.
A much-deserved night off as the hardest-working champion in WWE and double champion.
That's right, you are double champion. And Kate, that North American title hasn't been defended since Halloween Havoc. I think you're due for another title defense.
Well, I am the best wrestler in the WWE, Ava. I don't think anyone here even wants to face me.
I actually think I found someone who does. They're right there.
Okay, what the heck is that? What is that? You clearly set me up.
I would.
Oh, this is a cold-blooded setup.
Hey, Ethan. It's not.
Póngase verde. Hey, are you not gonna call the cops?
Oh, and what am I gonna say? A reptile stole your car.
Yes, it's Florida!
You know, for a man who calls himself the greatest North American, you'd think he would be just a little bit more prepared for Mr. Iguana.
What?
He always shows up in situations like this, especially when it means revenge.
What in situations like what? He always shows up in the back of people's cars. This is the most Florida man story that I've ever seen. No wonder it happened in Orlando. A human-sized reptile is waiting for you in the back of your seat. And you're saying Ethan Page is a champion. Should be prepared for that. I have never seen a title match be formed based on Grand Theft Auto, but that's what we've got in front of us tonight. Mr. Iguana gets the shot at Ethan Page's North American Championship. And the thing that really gets me is that Mr. Iguana has stolen the hearts, has come from AAA and stolen the hearts of the NXT universe so much that he has people like you, an esteemed journalists like Megan Morant saying, well, I don't understand why the champion wouldn't be prepared for someone to have broken into his car.
Well, Mr. Iguana, I mean, he's been around him. He has his finger on the pulse. He knows exactly what is going on in NXT, and especially after Ethan Page and Chelsea Green took the mixed tag team championship from him, Mr. Iguana has a bone to pick with Ethan Page.
I have no doubt he has a bone to pick with him, and there is Mr. Iguana is a real pro at the sleight of hand. Look over here, and then I'm going to knock you with the left. Mr. Iguana is a king of distraction. Yes. The fact that he would be hiding in the backseat of the car, the fact that he is all green, the fact that Layeska is by his side everywhere that he goes. It's all a distraction so that you forget about the fact that this guy has an absolutely vicious onslaught when he needs to have it. He's not just about the ha-has and the entertainment, and I think that Ethan Page has to stay aware of that tonight, or his championship may be in danger.
Well, and Ethan Page is one to ha-ha and entertain as well. He calls himself the hardest working champion in all of WWE, and there is some merit.
Multi-promotional champion, by the way.
Yes, he is, yes. And he's been defending the championship. I mean, this is a man that works day and night, 7 days a week. Ethan Page. 8 days. 8 days a week. But, you know, with all due respect to Mr. Iguana, Ethan Page certainly is a threat.
Ethan Page is beyond a threat. You see, Ethan Page defines himself by that North American Championship. Ethan Page lives as the North American champion. It's not an award, it's his entire personality. I could not imagine what it would feel like for Ethan Page to know that that title is gone. I could not imagine going back to that tag team with Chelsea Green and realizing that they're not both double champs anymore. Ethan Page has a lot on the line tonight. I think it's only going to make him more fierce, more dangerous.
And that's tough to even imagine. But 10 different superstars tonight are waiting with anticipation to change the entire trajectory of their career. Here is Miles Bourne. He won the coveted Iron Survivor advantage, and arguably the strongest woman in all of NXT looks to become a survivor, the Iron Survivor tonight. But when Countdown rolls on, our very own Blake Howard caught up with another member of the Iron Survivor Challenge, Dion Lennox. We'll get that interview when we return.
What's he got to say?
Best seat in the house. Oba's got Ethan Page for 20 more seconds. Hey!
This was a big call. Those that used from pillar to post.
Let me enjoy this next Well, Oba is now technically back into the matchup, and trying to meet him was Frazier.
Got less than 2 minutes, Vic.
And Page has 30 more seconds left. Big kick from Lee. And look back at the scoreboard. Page, Evans, they are the two superstars who are in the lead right now. 2 decisions apiece. 15 seconds left for Page, and Nasty landing by Lee, and the clock now is what we brought up earlier. The clock is going to be important because now there's only 90 seconds left in this matchup. And Evans has to hold on. Page is trying to hold on. The door just opened. Page is back in this matchup. And, well, actually, Page isn't back in the matchup. He's still knocked out. Oh! Evans may be two, and those are the two leaders, Book. And we're inside the final almost 60 seconds. And right now, Page, Evans trying to hold on, but they can't get to their feet. Frazier, Lee, they got to get a decision, just like Obafemi, to tie this up. And we have now less than 55 seconds in this matchup. And the clock is becoming the enemy now for these three superstars.
You got to do it quick, Wes.
Lee trying to jump on the back. Frazier coming in as well. I'm trying to peek over, and Evans, Page isn't even moving. And the bodies right now scattered all over the Armory here in Minneapolis as we're inside the final now. 30 seconds of this matchup. Evans and Page, they got the most decisions. Time is the factor now, Book. The sand is running out of the dial for these superstars. There's 20 seconds left for these three. Double choke slam!
Oh, wait a minute!
Double choke slam!
Double cover!
Oba. Double cover!
Wow!
Just like that! Obafemi
has scored 2 falls!
Femi's the leader!
You gotta be
Femi's
kidding
at
me,
3!
man.
There's only 5 seconds! Covered by Evans!
Cover him!
Cover him, Evans!
Cover him!
And he's gonna run out of time!
Here is your winner and the new #1 contender to the NXT Championship, Obafemi!
Bloodied, beaten, battered. These 5 pushed each other and the time to the limit. And you are looking at Obafemi. You are looking at the ruler of NXT.
My name is John Cena. I'm a kid who grew up in a small town in West Newbury. And I'm living the dream.
The champ is here!
My time is now. You can't see me. My time is now.
Just 1 week from today, it's John Cena's final match on Saturday night's main event. And tonight, the GOAT himself hand-selected the participants for the Iron Survivor match.
As my in-ring career in WWE winds down, I've remained steadfast to my goal to leave this business better than I found it. The future of WWE is what NXT is all about. That's why I asked Ava, the NXT General Manager, for the privilege of selecting the participants of this year's Iron Survivor Challenge. This unique match has the ability to launch a superstar's career to that next level. And when you talk about the future of this business, no 2 names come to mind faster than Javon Evans and Leon Slater from TNA.
Everybody here at NXT knows that when the young is in charge and the young OGs in the same ring, we make some magic.
A pair of 21-year-olds who are way ahead of their time. They're fun to watch, and I look for big things on the road ahead.
The X-Division champion Leon Slater, the young OG Javon Evans, showing us just how bright the future truly is.
Next spot goes to a man who is the definition of self-made superstar.
It's Joe Hendry. No!
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry!
And right on. He built his name from the ground up, made himself impossible to ignore.
Say my name. Believe me, I will appear.
I believe in Joe Hendry. The next selection was a college football captain at Oregon State University who has now embraced his transition to the WWE and has become a dominant force.
That's Dion Lennox, right? That's got a lot of adrenaline flowing through his body, and he's the one who put this whole Dark State thing together.
Dion Lennox has earned an opportunity to show what he's got.
Staring a lion in the face, knowing that your next move is going to be your last. Because he can tear you apart 1,000 different ways. And I ain't talking about just physically. I'm saying mentally, too.
And the last spot will be given to the winner of tonight's main event. Miles Bourne and Trick Williams are both deserving in their own right. They'll battle it out for a chance to earn an incredible opportunity that makes tonight's main event one you can't miss.
Another Bourne again. Miles in the cover.
Wow.
Miles is headed to deadline. That's the biggest win of his career.
My time is up. Gentlemen, your time is now. Good luck.
The greatest of all time has put together an incredible men's Iron Survivor Challenge for tonight at Deadline, but we now know that not only did Miles Bourne win the opportunity to be in this match, but he's won the opportunity to have the advantage in this match, and that means he gets to select when he comes out. The question is, what's he gonna select? This is a 25-minute match. 2 superstars start, and then every 5 minutes thereafter, another superstar will come out. Does it make more sense to start the match and go the full 25, get as many points as possible? Or does it make more sense to come in late and just stack up those decisions?
It's a very difficult decision for anybody to make, but everybody is looking to break out in this Iron Survivor Challenge, particularly Dion Lennox, who caught up with Blake Howard earlier this week.
Dion Lennox, congratulations, as you've been selected as one of the participants in the upcoming Iron Survivor Challenge by the greatest of all time, John Cena. Dion, ultimately, what does that accolade mean to you?
Just like him, I had to develop myself. When I first got here, I was pushed around, made fun of, man. People thought I was a joke. Thought I was just gonna be some other athlete that came in here and went through the motions. But they don't know me. So I had to go find 3 other guys just like me. I was in the public eye. They was behind closed doors. That's why Dark State came together. 4 guys with one same goal, leave no doubt. And the fact that John Cena sees me as a dominant force means that we doing something right. And that's cool. That's really cool. But I ain't come here to be nobody else. I came here to be Dion Lennox.
Well, Dion, very much understood. And this past Tuesday on NXT, you actually relinquished one half of your NXT Tag Team Championships to fellow Dark State member Saquon Sugars. What went into that decision?
Man, I want Dark State to control all of NXT, not just the tag division. It wouldn't be fair to y'all if I wasn't all in on these tag titles. So I feel like I gotta get this to one of y'all.
Take it. Hold it down.
We won tag team gold already, so why not bring some singles gold into the family? And it wouldn't be fair to me or my brothers if I divided my attention. But we do things differently in Dark State. When one eats, we all eat, dawg. My success is Saquon's success. Quan's success is Cuddy's success. Cuddy's success is O's success. You feel me, dawg? Man, I trust Quan and Big O to hold it down while I handle business. And I'll prove John Cena right on Saturday by winning the Iron Survivor. And I'm gonna show everybody that my time is now.
Well, Dion, as we see right here, and we've seen over the last few weeks, a noticeable difference in your demeanor from what we've become accustomed to here in NXT. What's with this shift?
Man, I use that anger, that rage of being overlooked just to get to this damn spot. But don't get it twisted, it's still there. Something I carry with me every day. You push me hard enough and you're gonna find out. But now I'm getting what I deserve. And it's exactly what I've been grinding for this whole time. Recognition. Opportunities. Gold. I'm right where I need to be. And after Saturday, I'm one match away from being NXT champion. Can't be mad if it's all on my shoulders. I don't get it done. Blame's on me. I do get it done. I ain't got no one to thank but myself.
Well, Dion, this past Tuesday, we saw a pretty full circle interaction between you and Oba Femi. Now, if you're able to get by the competition, win the Iron Survivor Challenge this weekend, is Oba who you want to see as NXT champion?
Look, I've been waiting a long time to say what I said to Oba on Tuesday. That I'm here now, and I'm coming for him. Look, a lot of people gonna say that they don't care who the champ is. They gonna be ready for him. Screw all that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I want Oba to win. Because nothing will be more satisfying than taking the title from the guy who started all this, who showed me that I had to carve my own path that no one will give me. And if he's standing across from me at New Year's Evil, then he gonna find out real quick that when Dion Lennox strikes, ain't a damn thing safe.
I mean, this is an unbelievable opportunity for all 5 of these superstars, but it really feels like Dion Lennox he's really sacrificed a lot here, Sam. I mean, he relinquished his tag team championship. He called out Oba Femi. Is he putting the horse before the carriage here?
The horse always goes before the carriage.
Carriage,
but you're asking
the
if the carriage
before
is
the
before
carriage?
I know.
Exactly what
there's
I'm
carts
talking
and carriages
about.
and there's
Yes.
horses. There's a lot going on in the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. That's what makes it so compelling. But listen, I don't think that there's any carriage going before any horse here. I think that this is an ultimate display of confidence, and that's what you need to go in there. There is nobody in this match that has the opportunity for a breakout night the way Dion Lennox has. And in a world where everything counts, to go all the way back to that interaction with Oba Femi and realize that that's the creation of a superhero or a supervillain, we don't know. But Dion Lennox has one purpose at Deadline, and that's to make tonight about himself for the very first time.
I want to talk about Leon Slater because, man, he has been so impressive in what he's done, not only as the TNA X Division champ, but in NXT as well, being selected by the GOAT to be a part of the Iron Survivor Challenge. But Sam, can you imagine a world where not only is he holding this X Division championship, but he's also the #1 contender for the NXT championship?
Take it a step further. He could be the NXT champion within a month or two. Like, he could, after tonight, get that NXT championship shot and be the champion. As NXT is going into this new era, so is TNA. Can you imagine if Leon Slater holds both those titles? You know, no matter where you go, when you're having these conversations about the professional wrestling industry, every expert that I've spoken to agrees that this Leon Slater is undeniably a future star. The thing about future stars is, when do they realize the potential? When is the moment? Is tonight the night that he doesn't become a future star, but just a star?
But you talk about moments. It's hard to talk about making a moment without talking about Joe Hendry. He has certainly had WrestleMania moments. I mean, countless moments for Joe Hendry. But does he emerge tonight as an Iron Survivor?
A lot of people hope so. Joe Hendry is a guy who, I mean, the whole internet lost their mind this week when he showed up on the WWE roster page. Joe Hendry has made no secret about wanting to be a part of John Cena's retirement run here in the WWE. And what bigger part could he play than going into a match that he was selected by John Cena to be in and winning that match? Tonight, Joe Hendry could fulfill a destiny that he put forth over a year ago.
Who will walk out of San Antonio as the Iron Survivor? We are going to find out tonight at Deadline. It's the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, Miles Bourne,
Javon Evans, Leon
Slater.
Here's what makes this match so unique to me, that tonight, this match, by the time the superstars go in, they will know exactly who the NXT champion is. Because for the first time in the history of NXT, a PLE opens with the NXT championship match. Ricky Saints defends against Oba Femi to open Deadline.
Mr. Iguana and La Yesca completely shocked the greatest North American, Ethan Page, Tuesday on NXT. Can they take his most prized possession, the NXT North American Championship? We will find out tonight.
I think it'll be Mr. Iguana y La Yesca, not and La Yesca. But tonight it's all about a grudge. It's all about a down and dirty rivalry. Tatum Paxley looks to get revenge against the woman who she thought was her best friend, but the woman who took the championship from her, or at least cost her the championship, Izzy Dame.
I look at this graphic and all I see is star power, but only one will emerge as the Women's Iron Survivor at Deadline tonight.
Oh, I cannot wait. Oh, here we go, Megan. San Antonio is ready. It's Deadline night, and it ascends upon San Antonio right now.
Tonight at Deadline, NXT will once again present a truly revolutionary match. the Iron Survivor Challenge. There will be 2 Iron Survivor Challenges, one for the men and one for the women. Five superstars will compete in this unique 25-minute match. They will battle each other and the clock. 2 superstars will start the match. Then every 5 minutes, another superstar will join the match until all 5 are in the ring. The goal of the match is to have the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes. Falls can be won at any time via pinfall or submission. When a superstar wins a fall, they'll earn a point. However, when a superstar loses a fall, they must pay the penalty. They're forced out of the ring and into the penalty box for 90 seconds. Once 90 seconds are up, the superstar can re-enter the match. The superstar who scored the most falls when the clock hits 25 minutes will be named the Iron Survivor and will become the #1 contender for the NXT Championship. Who will be the next Iron Survivor?
The field is set for the most exciting 25 minutes in the WWE. Who will out-strategize the opposition? Who could become the Iron Survivor?